Fam, I went from not hearing about smart cities at all to not even being able to turn the corner without hearing somebody talk about a smart city. Like it's beyond crazy. So does anybody know what they look like? Anybody seen some blueprints? Have an idea? Something? Give us something. I want to know because I'm hearing about it so much now. But we're gonna get to the craziness. All right. So y'all know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
Okay, y'all want to go inside one of these? Let's try. And this is not the Tesla charger. This is the electric meter. And see, the houses are numbered on the green plaques. All right, let's go knock, see if anybody's home. It's brand new. The plastic's still on the door. Whoop, definitely just woke everybody up. See if we can look in the window. Oh, there's a sink. Try to go around back. So the hot water heater is supposed to sit right here. Now most of them just hang on the wall. That's for the water pressure on the roof. All right. What's it look like in here? Oh look, another room. Let's look through here. There's a sink. Oh look, somebody lives here. They're doing laundry. Okay, y'all want to go inside?
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That makes me envision nothing but robots. Even us coming outside, so robotic. It's like, in living in a place like that, it's just like you're gonna be so robotic. It's like we're headed towards that way. And when you think about everything in the grand scheme of things, the technology, the microchips, all of that, it ends here with all of us living like this.
Newsome basically came out and said something very suspicious about land grabbing. Roll it.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii. You had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Maybe a smart city? Newsome.
Bro, it's the body language. It's his body language. For me, man, it just comes up. He needs a publicist bad. I have never seen somebody that needs a publicist so bad, worse than him. Like he needs like the giddiness, the excitement, it's just all bad. It's just all bad, fam. Like I wonder if he ever go back and look at his interviews and stuff and say to himself, yeah, that. Like, somebody needs to sit him down because it looks bad.
While our beautiful cities burn to the ground, I'm so thankful for Gavin Newsome for podcasting. Priorities are always correct with him. He also just did a very interesting video where he's talking to a reporter, journalist, whatever, and he's saying how he already has a whole team ready to go to start planning what he calls LA 2.0. And they're already working on it, getting it all together. And I'm like, okay, so you guys have already been working on this. So this was already a plan you guys had. So, yeah, you know, he's talking about the Olympics because that's a huge priority right now when people have lost everything and they'll probably never even be able to afford or rebuild or any of these things. And he's talking about how it's not just for, you know, people on the coast here, it's for everybody. So I don't know, does this mean, you know, smart city coming to a town near you? Is this what all this means? I'm starting to think it is. Very interesting.
Well, who's gonna live in a smart city? Because if we're unable to rebuild and move back into our neighborhoods that were burned down and stuff like that, then who's gonna live in these smart cities? Then ultimately are you pushing those people out for who to come in? That's the part that's plaguing me, because I know those smart cities are gonna be expensive, especially right out the gate.
I'm just sitting out here working in my garden, and I have a question. You know how like Maui vowed to be a smart city, or at least this company wants to come in and do that, and then LA wanted to be a smart city, and then from my understanding, I could be mistaken, the fires in Chile, the town that was burned as well after Maui, had vowed to be a smart city, or these investors wanted to make it a smart city. My question is, who's the next city? Who has this company said is going to be a smart city in 4 to 6 years? And why are we not looking at preparing them for these fires that, in my mind, are probably intentional? Why not wipe the slate clean? It's an unfortunate conspiracy theory, but there's got to be a next city that somebody knows about. Who is it?
I didn't even think about. So what's the next city, y'all? Who have y'all heard talk about smart cities? I haven't heard anything near the Atlanta area. Y'all, this is when we need each other right now. Who's hearing what right now? And then when y'all hear, because they keep saying smart city, what comes to mind when y'all hear the words smart city? For me, it's smart TV comes to mind, right? And my mind goes to smart TV, and then it directly goes to that news video that we saw, where people were taking control of the smart TVs and being able to watch you without you knowing off of your TV. So now that reroutes me back to smart city is they're going to be able to watch. They're going to be we're going to be under a microscope, surveillance, everything. And that's already the case now, but it'll be intensified, I think, in a smart city.
Can somebody please tell me what's going on with our food? Because at first it was just produce that seemed to be a little bit off, but now people are noticing that there's something really strange going on with the meat also. People are literally going bananas over this. At first it was just this single incident. This family shared a bundle of bananas that they bought. They said something seemed very strange about these bananas, and they were urging people not to eat them. The bananas were really stretchy, they were super dense, they didn't smell like normal bananas, and it took a lot of force to get these bananas to break apart. People didn't think too much of it, but then this person shared these avocados that they bought. These avocados shared a very similar consistency to the bananas. They're extremely dense, really rubbery, and seem almost fake. They also had little to no odor, moisture, or flavor. These people have all been accused of buying fake fruit just to get views. This woman purchased this watermelon for her kids. She said it was extremely dense, stretchy, rubbery, hard to break. It had no odor, hardly any juice, and it was flavorless. She really pulled at it for a long time, and it seemed to just stretch apart. Another person came forward after that with this watermelon. The outside skin seems to just be ripping off. No one can explain why this is happening to these watermelons or the other produce. It's starting to happen with our meat too. This person bought a 80-20 pound of beef. They said that the beef was not normal. The consistency was strange, it smelled strange, and the way it was cooking was definitely off.
Yeah, I ain't eating no ashy meat. That meat is mad ashy, bro. Like it's dry. It's super ashy, bro. It looked like me after I got out the shower and I don't quickly put the lotion on my skin. It's something wrong with that meat. No meat should look that ashy.
They cooked this beef down just to show you what the fat content versus the meat content was. Whether it was mislabeled or something else, people want answers. Look at how much fat is separating from this meat, and after she strains it, there is so much fluid left. Like, it doesn't even look like normal fat. Majority of the food shared in this video was purchased at the same company or sister company too. So is this an odd coincidence, or is there something going on? Can somebody please tell me?
It ain't. We keep saying the chemicals, and look at all the chemicals that just came up off of that ashy meat. Look at the chemicals. Like, we keep saying the chemicals, man. I don't know. Like, I went to make like some home fries this morning, and when I did it, I made sure like when we do it, we normally cut the potatoes up, and then we like soak them in water until we're ready to put them in the pan. And that water color just was looking like a dingy, so I poured it out, and I just went to rinsing it, bro. Because all I could think about in my mind was the chemicals. So I just went to rinsing and rinsing and rinsing and rinsing some more until I just felt like a little better about something, trying to get as much of the chemicals off as I possibly could. Like, we're at that stage now.
My neighbor, I share a wood line with, I'm good with. We used to not be good, but now we're good. I do check on him in the wintertime because he doesn't drive. Well, I took the shepherds and I posted that video. I got the pity out and took him out just in the field because gets too cold to go around the property. As we're sitting there playing in the upper field next to my neighbors, I hear, Jen. I'm like, oh, did he fall down? Like, what? So my pit bull does not like him. Like, barks at him and whatnot. So I went and put the pit bull away. I get all geared up again and I go up to his house because I'm like, oh God, did he fall? Did he fall down the stairs? I know he broke his ankle this summer, so maybe it was weak or something. He's tiddling around and I just didn't go check on him. So I walked up there, knocked on his door. No answer, no footprints, no nothing. I'm like, what the? All right, cool. So maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he tied one on and he's sleeping or something. Yeah. So I text him. I'm like, hey, so-and-so, are you good? I heard you call my name. And it sounded dead like him, dead. And he responds with, yeah, I'm good. I'm at a friend's house. It must not have been me you heard. I go, oh my God, it sounded just like you. And I walked up to your place to see if it was you and something happened. And I know Remy is always staring at crap on my property, but that came from the woods. That was like the wood line down into more woods that you saw me and the shepherds walk past. It was in that bunch of woods, but he's not home. Well, that's creepy.
I was always told when those spirits call your name or whatever calls your name, you shouldn't answer. What happens if you do? Because she answered. she went over there and answered. What happens when you respond to them? I need to know that. I need to know that for a friend. And then she said something that kind of threw me off. She said he must have tied one off. What did that mean? That kind of threw me. Did anybody else catch that, or did I hear it wrong? She said he must have tied one off and went to sleep. What? Explain yourself.
Have you seen this viral photograph of the one house on this street in Los Angeles that survived the fire? How did that happen? Well, the architect credits the design of the home with this new idea that's called passive house. Here's how it works. Most traditional houses have vents up at the attic, and in a fire, they end up sucking embers into the house, and that's what causes the house to catch on fire from the inside. But I took a look at a passive house and it's very different. Instead of a bunch of vents on the outside, there's just this one little opening where the air is pulled inside the house, and there's this very advanced filtration system that controls the flow of the air and does not pull embers inside of the house. And so that significantly reduces the potential that it will catch on fire. They also use a lot of different materials like fire-resistant siding and insulation, and the windows are all triple pane. They can resist the heat and they don't crack and break in a fire, which is another way that the embers get into the house. Passive homes are designed to be very energy efficient, but those same qualities make them much more resilient to fire. Have you seen this?
Hey man, we've been saying for years, bro. They literally, I know in this area here, they literally just throw these houses up, fam. They made of pretty much nothing. And in the event of a fire, they're going to go like that. Literally, they make these houses they throw them up way too fast. And then if something ever happens, fam, they're going up in the blink of an eye. That's what I'm saying. We need to go back, or we need to go back to how they used to build back in the day. You know what I mean? Or we need to come up with, like you said, fire-resistant things, man. Like, the new way we build needs to be different. It needs to be changed, because the way we doing it now, it ain't it.
Listen to this about P. Diddy. Apparently, the night Biggie was shot, P. Diddy and some others whose names aren't disclosed, allegedly, put a sticker on the tire of the car that Biggie was in, right? So that they could distinguish between which car was Biggie's and the other cars that were there when he was assassinated. So just watch this clip, then I'll explain.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive.
So apparently the reason for marking the car was that Diddy knew which car not to enter. Not only this, but most of Biggie's crew died from heart attacks, except for Kim. So 3 of those guys passed away from heart attacks. Listen to this about P. Diddy.
Little Caesar's still alive? What do you mean? Kim's still alive? What was Biggie homeboy? Did he pass away? The one that went to jail for him? This theory here, this new theory here is interesting to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. That one there just seems I don't get that one. Now the whole him making money off of Big's name, I can understand why people would be upset on that. Like, give him back their publishing or give it to his kids at least. You know what I'm saying? Get it. His kids should be receiving the benefits of any type of thing coming in from Big. Like, I never understood that. That should have been done quickly. His kids don't have a dad no more. That should have been a no-brainer. Right after it happened. Y'all gonna be straight, don't worry about it. All his publishing coming to y'all. Y'all are taken care of for the rest of your life. That's what a true homeboy would have done. I don't know what happened there.
Wait. That would explain why the Federal Aviation Administration placed several flight restrictions from Christmas Eve until January 19th. Oh, you are bringing back so much, because around the Christmas holiday, I was paying very close attention to where VP Harris was, because she canceled her flight home for the holidays on December 20th, rushed back to the White House, and then was there in Washington, D.C. all the way through Christmas. She was working, or at least in Washington, D.C. on Christmas Eve. And then the Federal Aviation Administration publishes all of these new flight restrictions for the reason of security. They published it on Christmas Eve, and they last through January 19th. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just too much coming together on these dates.
I ain't trying to ruffle no feathers or nothing. Y'all ain't heard this from me. Matter of fact, yes you did. Tell them I said it. Biggest forms of witchcraft happen in that church. I mean, just think about it. Using the elements of water to baptize you. It ain't just symbolic. That's a ritual. They pray over it, they bless it, and they believe that it cleanses the soul, right? That kind of sounds like charging water with intention, aka water magic. But, I could be wrong. Remember them candles that they had on them altars at church? Or just think about a candlelight vigil. Don't they light them, set them, pray over them, and use them to set the vibe? They also light them and call on their deity. Sounds like candle magic to me. Using the element of fire. What about that communion bread? Symbolic of the body of their god? Y'all never bat an eye. I ain't judging y'all, because I used to tear them crackers up. That grape juice too. But the blood? Y'all really had us in there drinking the blood and eating the body of Christ? If that don't scream ritual, I don't know what does. Fused it with intention and divine energy, then consumed it. That sounds like earth magic, clear as day. I'm probably bugging though. What exactly is prayer itself? What is that wind coming out of your mouth? Isn't that the element of air? Words spoken out into the atmosphere carry intention and energy. And you ever been in a church where they all speaking in tongues? Yeah, that's manipulation of air energy. Moving right along though. You mean to tell me you never realize how the church keeps you in a trance? Repetition of music, as well as certain words that keep you in a loop. When they singing that same line over and over and over, talking about take you to the king. And if you 5 years young, like why would you need to meet the king right now? It's meant to lull you in a meditative state. Now, think about all of those altar calls. Everybody going up there, they all in their emotions, they crying, feeling the spirit. They done worked your into an emotional high. Guess what? Now you open to suggestion and or influence. Or what does the pastor be doing when he's waving his hand over the congregation? It's like they're pulling something out of you or casting blessings. Pretty sure that sounds like energy work. Moving that energy throughout the room, which is why you get waves of people that start shouting at the same time. Well, let me guess. It's cool when the pastor lay hands. But y'all do know that's energy transference, right? Channeling energy to heal or anoint. So what's the difference between that and Reiki or another healing spiritual practice? They call casting out demons exorcisms, right? but ritual work. You know, commanding spiritual entities like we do at U Botanica with that root work, especially them graveyard services. Let me clarify, I don't do the left-handed work. This is exactly why you have a team of people. We do it all. They use that holy oil to anoint people. They usually pray over them and rub it on their third eye. And similar to what we call oil magic. I think y'all catching the drift by now. Truth is, they use in all forms of magic. Mental, ritual, symbolic, all day, every day. And instead of owning it, you know what they do? They slap a name holy on it. They're going to demonize anybody doing it outside of their framework. It's funny because they don't want you using your power. They tell you to fear it, actually. Yet, they're using the same exact thing against y'all. That's how they get to keep staying in charge. So that was the times of the past. It's a new day. A lot of people waking up to the bull. The next time somebody trying to remind you about magic, trying to call it demonic, tell them you peep game. Doing the same exact thing. They just scared to name it what it is because they don't want you to know who you are. Why would they? Get in them comments and let me know your thoughts. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
So I want to share a conversation I had with a fellow realtor in China on Red Note. So he reached out and says, hi, how are you? Welcome, to Xiaohongshu. And I was like, thank you. And he was like, how are you enjoying your time on here? I said, I think it's great. I said, I'm actually picking up Mandarin more quicker. And he says, so you're a realtor. Where are you? I said, I'm in California. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was like, well, how are you feeling? I said, I'm a little tired. I said, I've been, getting resources and helping people out find housing who have lost their homes in the fire. And he was like, oh, yeah, I heard about that. That is devastating. I said, yeah, it is. He says, well, why don't y'all just put them in another house at no cost? Y'all, I had to take a pause on that. And I got a little emotional. And I told him, it's not that simple. I wish it was that simple. I said, but it's not that simple here in the United States. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I know I gave him an example. I said, I found a corporate apartment for $299 a day. He says, $300 a day. I said, yeah. He says, why are they charging? I'm like, capitalism. And he was like, that just doesn't make any sense. You all are in a disaster area. He says, where is everybody going to live? In tents? I said, yeah, that's what's actually happening now. And I got a little bit more emotional. And I explained to him my story. I told him, I said, well, look, let me explain to you. I said, I was homeless. I got sick and I lost my place. And I was in the shelter system for 1.5 years. And then I ended up getting an apartment that was owned by a slumlord, wasn't taking care of it. And I said I had to evict myself because sewage backed up in the bathroom. I only had one bathroom. And they didn't want to fix it. They didn't want to fix anything. I said, we're 100-degree heat with no AC. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. I said, it's not like how you guys live over there in China. And I know not everybody is rich over there, but y'all live pretty well. And I said, just like y'all have a car that they banned from the United States, it's only cost $9,000, fully loaded. It's it's not intermediate. I think it's a compact car, but a little bigger than a compact car. I say it's about the size of a Prius, fully loaded. All kinds of technology in it, $9,000. But the United States banned China's automobiles because of the technology is so good. We are so far behind China in tech, it's ridiculous. But they want to, do H-1B visas, but only for certain people. And, the thing is, the fact that we're now getting to know the truth, and they're learning the truth too, is, I think it's amazing. They should know the stories. They should know everybody's stories because everybody's story is different. But the fact that he thought it was just that simple to get somebody into another place for free, which there's people who have put people in hotels for free. But it's not that block is not going to last forever. But I got a little emotional because you know what? If I had the power to just put everybody in a space that they could stay in for free as long as until their house get built, I would do that. But it's not that simple. But he was like, they do that over there. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to close with this. Now we know how our government sees us. So I want to share a conversation.
So first thing I want to say is y'all be careful, fam. Y'all be careful. Anybody just randomly reaching out to you and you striking up a conversation just seems, I don't know, it just seems a little strange to me, but I'm very, very cautious when it comes to that type of stuff. So I just hope y'all are being safe and being cautious with this. Secondly, yeah, people are starting to see what we deal with. You know, for the longest, we always looked at the outside world as, wow, we got it good over here. We only saw the bad that they showed us. And it was kind of a way to control us and keep us in line. Show us only the bad, make it look bad out there so we never want to leave. So we never know how good it is out there. Possibly. We didn't know. So this new communication shows us. And when you think about it, yeah, why don't we have something in place or something we can do to put people up so they can get on their feet? You know how much taxes these people have paid? We all have paid for one natural disaster to come through, and now our whole life is just in shambles. We've paid taxes our entire life. Where it went, we had no control of it, but we had to pay it. So all these taxes we paid in one natural disaster, and then we're left by the wayside. We don't know where we're gonna live, where we're gonna stay, where our next meal is coming from. And we still gotta pay the mortgage on this place we don't have no more. Tell me how this is right. Tell me how this is set up for us to win. Somebody make it make sense to me.
We have some breaking news tonight and a chilling mystery out of North Carolina. A suspect is now in custody in the killing of a 25-year-old woman named Heather Williams. Williams was last seen leaving her parents' home in Fayetteville the night of January 4th. In this ring cam video, you can see as she walks out the front door, walks across the lawn, and then gets into a gray four-door sedan driven by a then unknown person. Police would find her body in a wooded area 6 days later. Heather was almost entirely mute after being hit by a car in 2015 and spending months in a coma. Her family says she was learning how to talk again and walk, but injuries left her, her brain injuries left her overly trusting of strangers. Police say the suspect, Terrell Searmans, was arrested today and charged with first-degree murder. They also say he had just been released from prison for robbing, kidnapping, and shooting someone who actually survived. I'm joined now by Mary Williams, Heather Williams' sister. Mary, thank you so much for being here. I'm so sorry for what you and your family have gone through. And this is such a late-breaking development with the arrest of this suspect. And it's actually someone you had spoken with right after Heather went missing. Can you tell me about that?
Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for having me and covering Heather's story. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how this whole investigation unfolded. Last week, we, checked the security camera footage and saw on Sunday morning that Heather hadn't come home and that she had left that night getting into this unknown vehicle that we had no idea who it was that picked her up. So immediately after filing that missing persons report, my mom tried to pull up her phone records on Verizon to see who was her last point of contact. And when we saw that last 3-minute phone call to that unknown number, I went ahead and dialed it and gave him a call to see who it was.
And what was the conversation like? What did he tell you?
So I had asked him, I told him who I was, that we haven't seen Heather. I asked him if he had picked her up or been with her recently. He did tell me that he did pick her up, that he had met her on Facebook, and that he couldn't tell me which night it was he picked her up. He couldn't remember, couldn't even tell me what they did. So I tried to pry. I said, "Where'd you go? What'd you do?" He said that she wanted to be dropped off at another location. She asked to go to somebody else's house the whole time, and so that's where he took her, dropped her off at somebody's house. So I asked him, "Well, what kind of car do you drive?" And he said a red SUV. And I said, "Well, can you send me the Facebook messages between you guys if that's where you were communicating at, or the text messages or something, so I could see what day this happened at, so I can see if it matches up with the day we last saw her?" Well, he didn't send me anything, so then I sent him a screenshot of that recording where we have the car in the picture, and I asked him, "Is this your car, and did you pick her up in it?" And he did finally come back and say he picked her up that night, but that he was using his friend's car, so that he wasn't lying about driving a red SUV, but that he was borrowing a car that night.
You would have said that initially, though. You would have said that initially. Yeah, I drive a red SUV, but that's not what I picked her up in. If you was telling the truth, why did you leave that out? Now you're going to cop to it? Man, get out of here. See, this is why I say, going back to the whole Red Note app and everything like that, just be careful. Be careful, y'all. Everything ain't what it seems. So be careful. I'm trying to give it some time before I head over there. Don't get me wrong. I see everybody having fun, and I want to go over there too. I'm just trying to give it a little time. But be careful, because it's situations like this.
Wow. So you shared all of this, obviously, with the police. Were they able to take the ball from there and then lead to the arrest tonight?
So I asked him what his name was, and he would only identify as Zag, and that's all I got. So I sent the number over to the detective with the screenshots and told her about our conversation. Obviously, this was before we actually found Heather. So when she got all that, she ended up questioning him, seizing his vehicle, and searching his car that last Friday. And on that same day, that's whenever they were led to Heather's body. And so between last Friday when they found Heather and, today when they made the arrest, I'm sure they were trying to put together all the evidence, within his car and in the woods, and found on Heather. It's horrific to even think about.
Mary, I'm so incredibly sorry that, you're talking about your sister. Do you think that they were led to her body by the suspect? Do you think he coughed up details and took them there, and that's why they could find her?
So I honestly thought that it wasn't him, because after Friday of them searching the car and they didn't make an arrest, even after finding the body, I thought, well, maybe it wasn't him, because again, that was Friday and it's almost a week later. I did see where the arrest warrant was taken out on the 14th, 2 days ago. So I believe that they found probable cause in between Friday and Monday or Tuesday. And then it just probably took time to bring him in. So I don't think that he actually led them there. I think something they found in the car is what led them there to Heather.
Bro, she's strong as I don't know what, fam. She is keeping it together. She is like articulating everything. Like, she is like, salute to her for how strong she is and being able to conduct this interview. I wouldn't even got on the interview to even speak. It'd probably take me about a year later before I could get on the interview and actually speak about it. And not be, you know what I'm saying? Not be emotional, breaking down or something like that about it. Like, salute to her.
Maybe there was GPS. I mean, that's often the case. That's something a lot of the newer cars have. But we were just looking at some of the pictures, Mary, of you and Heather together on the beach. You look like twins. You're so similar. And I'm so hurt for you in your loss. You must feel angry about the fact that he was let out of prison for doing something violent and perhaps almost similar, but for the fact the victim survived.
Yeah, it's awful to see his record and to know that he's done something very similar to this and, did a stint in prison and was able to be back out on the streets. Unfortunately, it's just the world we live in, where you want to give people the benefit of a doubt and you want to think they can be reintegrated back into society and make good decisions. And it's so hard to believe that there's evil in this world that exists to do these kinds of things to people. And so, I'm not angry at the justice system or at the people who, didn't keep him locked up. I'm angry at him because he's who to blame. He's the one that made the decisions. And, other people shouldn't have to answer for his actions because he's the one who did this and he is the one with evil in him.
You are a very strong young woman, Mary Williams, and I just want to send you our thoughts and our heartfelt prayers for your family and what you're dealing with. And I hope you get justice in this case. Thank you so much for sharing your story and Heather's story with us.
Thank you so much for covering it. We appreciate it.
That's Mary Williams talking about her sister, Heather Williams, and an arrest made tonight in that case. We'll keep you posted on the case as well.